This video is an intro to circles. This will include the standard form function and various parts of the circle. So first, the definition. The definition is a set of all points that are the same distance from a given point, which is the center. Some useful resources that you'll need when solving some circle equations is a distance formula. Like if you're given two endpoints, you might want to find the center from that. So this is the distance formula. Okay, so let's start out with the standard form of the circle. The standard form of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So the h, that is the x value of the center, and the k is the y value of the center. And the r is the radius, which is from the center to one of the outer points. So radius. Remember that the radius in the equation is always radius squared. So to find the radius, you want to take the square root of whatever is on the right side of the equation. So another thing, you always want to take the opposite of whatever is in the parentheses to find like the x and y values. For example, we have x minus 5 squared plus, let's say, x plus 2 squared equals 49. So the radius would be the square root of 49, which equals 7. And to find the center, so the x value is always opposite of the parentheses. So the x value would be 5 in this case. And the y value, this should be y. So the y value is also the opposite of whatever is in the parentheses. So like we said, it was minus 5, so negative 5. And then we flip it, so it's positive 5 for the x value. Same here, it's a plus 2, we flip it, so it's a negative 2. And that is your center. Okay, so now let's try and convert to the standard form. So we won't always be given the standard form, and we may need to convert it. So to convert it, we need to use this method called completing the square. And basically what we have to do first is put together the x's and the y's. So we have x, actually this should be x squared. So we have x squared plus this 4x, and then we want to put a blank, okay? Then we can put the y's together. Y squared, right here, minus 6y plus another blank. And what we want to do with this negative 1, minus 1, is move it to the right side, so we just add it. And on this side, we'll get negative 5 plus 1, which equals negative 4. And then we're going to add two blanks because we're going to be adding a number here and a number, two numbers on the left side, so we have to add those two numbers on the right side also. So for the c value on both these x squared and the y squareds, what we're going to do is take the b value divided by 2, then square. So 4, so for here, 4 divided by 2 squared would be 4. Same here. Takes us negative 6 divided by 2, negative 3, square it, 9. And remember, we had to put both of these numbers also on the right side to even it out. So plus 4 and 9. So negative 4 plus 4 equals 0 plus 9. So 9. And now we can actually factor these separately, the x and the y separately. So this would factor out to be x plus 4 squared with the plus sign, and then this will be factored out to be y minus, remember there's a minus sign there, and then 3 squared. And now this is our equation for a circle in standard form. Okay, so now for the parts of the circle. So let's just say we have a center here at 0, 0, okay? So that is the center, okay? And from here, the radius is, change the color, radius, so say it's 3, that's this length right here. So the radius is 3 on each side. So the radius is from the center to one of the points on the actual circle. So that is the radius. And the diameter is actually 2 times the radius. So that's from one point on a circle to another point on the circle on the opposite side. So let's just say, let's just draw a circle here first. So that would be, so the diameter, so 2 times the radius. So it could be from here to here, that's a radius, but it can also be from here to here. Because remember, it's the radius is still 3 from here to here, because that's the definition of circle. So diameter 2 times radius from one point on the circle to the opposite point on the circle. Okay, so for the area of a circle is pi r squared. So r, again, that's the radius. Let's just take the circle for example. The radius is 3. So we can plug in 3 squared, and the pi. 3 squared is 9. So our answer is 9 pi. We could multiply that out, 9 pi, with the pi button on our calculator, but we can just leave this simply as 9 pi, which is the area. Now, for the circumference of the circle, that is 2 pi r. Again, r is the radius, so here we have 3, so 2 pi multiplied by 3, and we get 6 pi, which equals our circumference. Again, we could multiply that out on a calculator with the pi button, but 6 pi should do for now. Okay, now a sample question. We have to find the equation from just 2 of the endpoints that they give. So these endpoints will be just 2 points on a circle, which make up a diameter. So we could visualize this and try and roughly sketch it on the graph. So 2, 8, this is just a rough sketch. -4 is about here. So we're looking at a circle. It's about something like this. So we want to find the center right now. So we can find the center by averaging out the x and the y values each separately. So we could do 2 plus -4, which would be 2, then divided by 2, and we get -1. So that -1 is the x value for the center, and we can do the same for the y value. So 8 plus 16, that will give us 24 divided by 2, and we're left with 12. So that is our center. And then we can basically get half the equation just from the center. So x, remember, it's the opposite value for both of these inside the parentheses. So x, so the center is -1. When you're putting it into the equation, you had to make it the opposite, so +1 squared, then plus y minus 12 squared. Remember, take the opposite, 12. Opposite is a -12, so -12. Now, what we're going to do is find the radius. So, remember, we're getting 2 endpoints, which is actually a diameter. So we can find the distance between these 2 points. That will be 2 times the radius. Because remember, 2 times the radius equals the diameter. We just divide it by 2 to get the radius. So we can go back to the distance formula. So the distance formula is x minus x2 minus x1 squared plus y y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so we have x. Let's just call this one x2, this one x1, y2, y1. So 2 minus -4, and then we can square that, and we have 36. Remember, taking square root of this whole thing, which is the formula, plus 8 minus 16, and we square that, and we get 64. So 36 plus 64, oh, 36 plus 64, oh no, okay, 64, 100, square root of 100 equals 10. So remember, that is our diameter. Okay, diameter is 2 times radius. Okay, so we can divide that 10 by 2. So 10 divided by 2 equals 5. But remember, in the equation, it's radius squared. So we have to square that 5. So 25, and that is our equation, which we just found from just 2 endpoints that were given. Okay, so now for a more complex problem. Here, we're given the center of the circle, which is -2, 4, and a line that is tangent to the circle, and we're asked to find the equation. So easy way to do this is actually first, just very roughly visualize this. So what we can do is draw a surface, our circle, draw a circle, and the center is 2, 4, -2, 4, right? And let's just imagine the line is tangent right at that point, right there. That's the line that is tangent with the equation y equals -4 over 3x plus 29 over 3. Okay, so if we actually think about this, this right here is actually the radius. And that radius, that line, is actually perpendicular to that line that we're given. Because imagine, it's tangent. And that radius, we could have it so if that line is tangent to our circle, that a radius will always be on the circle. So it will always be tangent, perpendicular to that line. So we know the slope of the perpendicular line, which is the negative reciprocal of the other line. So we want to find the equation of the line of the radius, because from there, we can find where these two lines meet. And if we find the point where they meet, which is right there, we can use the distance formula to find the distance to the center to find the radius, which we need to complete the equation. Okay, so first let's find the equation of that radius, the line of the radius. So the opposite reciprocal, y equals, opposite's negative, so we positive, and the reciprocal, 3 over 4 plus 29, or actually no, plus b. Okay, so we're left, this should be x here, plus b. Okay, so to find the b, what we can do is actually, the center is actually on that same line as the radius, so we can actually plug in that point to find the b value, right? Because it's on the same line right here. So we can plug in that -2, 4, so y4 equals 3 over 4, -2 plus b. So now that 0.75, which is 3 over 4 times -2, and we got 4 equals -1.5 plus b. And 4 plus 1.5 would equal 5.5. So 5.5 equals b. So now I can just put b right there. We can erase all our work. 5, let's rewrite this. Plus 5.5. Now what we have to do is find where these two intersect, right? Because that's going to be our point on the circle. So what we can do is we can just use simple subtraction to get rid of the y's and solve for the x. So we can do, let's just rewrite these. Y equals 3 over 4x plus 5.5 is the same as 11 over 2. So we'll just write that to keep it with the fraction of the first line. And then y equals negative 4 over 3x plus 29 over 3. We can subtract these. Subtraction will get rid of the y's, so we have 0 equals, so 3 over 4, which is 0.75, and negative 4 over 3, negative 4 over 3, so it'll be 0.75 minus that. Let's try and simplify that, and we get 25 over 12 over 12x. Now let's subtract the last two numbers. So 11 over 2 minus 29 over 3. Let's just simplify that. And we have negative 25. So it'd be minus, since it's negative, minus 25 over 6. Okay, so now let's add 25 over 6 to the other side. So we have 25 over 6 equals 25 over 12x. Okay, so now what we can do from here is actually pretty simple. 25 over 6 is basically just a factor of that. So if we want to see it on a calculator, we do 25 over 6, then we'd have to divide by 25 over 12, and we should get 2, yep. And so x equals 2. Now we can get rid of all this since we know what the x is. And we can just plug in x into one of the equations. Let's pick this one since that's the one I didn't erase. 0.75, which is a 3 over 4, times 2 plus 11 over 2, which is 5.5, and we'll have 7. So y equals 7. So the point right there, that point right there is 2, 7. Okay, so now what we can do is use the distance formula to find the distance between that and the center, which will give us a radius. And so let's just say the first x values, this one is x1, that one is y1, x2, y2. So 2 minus negative 2 give us 4 plus 7. Remember, take the square root of the whole thing, which is in the formula. And we have 7 minus 4 squared, which is, so 3 squared. So 4 times 4, 16 plus 9. Square root of that whole thing. 16 plus 9 is, what is it, 25? Square root of 25 equals 5. Okay, so our radius is 5. Okay, so let's just keep that down there. And now we can start writing our equation. So we already given the center, so we don't have to do any calculations for that. So we have x, remember, take the opposite, right? Because when we take it out of the parentheses and find the center, we do the opposite, put it back in, we do the opposite. So plus 2 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals, remember, radius squared. So it'll be 5 squared. So we have 25, and that is our equation found from just a line that's tangent and the center.